Okay, we're inside Notability here, and I'm going to put together just a quick walkthrough of how to get something out of Notability to share either with yourself on Google Drive or share with a teacher who may be asking you to put things in Google Drive throughout the year. The first thing we have to do is we have to make sure that our Google Drive account is linked to Notability. It's pretty cool that they connect that way, so we've got to make sure we engage it to start. This is kind of the main page for Notability. If you're ever inside of a note, like say the syllabus acknowledgement, all you have to do to get back is tap the little series of books all the way on the top left. Okay, back here on the main page, I'm going to look for the symbol for settings. And often we're going to find in all of these apps that we're going to be using that this kind of cog symbol down in the bottom left is going to be our symbol for settings. Inside the settings in Notability, provided you have the most recent version, it's going to have a couple of options about storage and management. Notice we can set up Google Drive right from there for online storage, and you can make sure and say, hey, am I logged into Google Drive already? Because maybe you logged in with your individual account before you got the school account. In order for this process to work, you need your Google Drive with the school login that we provided you to be hooked up to Notability. Otherwise, you're only going to be able to send things to an account that your teachers will not be able to share with you. Okay, so in this Manage Accounts, I verified I'm not logged into Google Drive already, so I'm going to tab Login, and right here, I'm going to provide my login. There we go. I'm going to tap Sign In. Now, it's going to say, this app needs permissions. You're going to see this a lot when you're kind of linking things on the iPad, or even if you link things on your computer. Just make sure that when you read through, you feel like, okay, this is kind of a reasonable thing they're asking me to do. Here, this app is asking you to view and manage the files and documents in Google Drive. Well, that's kind of what you're asking it to do. It's asking you to view your email address, which makes sense since that's what you're using to log in. And also it says know who you are on Google+. I don't really know what that means necessarily here, because you probably don't have a Google Plus account. But I'll tell you that a Google Plus account is linked to your Google Mail account. So if you were to create a Google Plus account using your school account, Notability would be able to see who you were. Right now, it's not something we need to worry about because we're not asking you to create Google Plus accounts. So let's just tap Accept. Okay. Now, that button changed to log out, which means that I'm in. And the best part about this is, provided I don't come in and tap log out, I won't have to log back in to connect these things. So we're going to close out because we have our drive set up, and we're going to find a note or something that we want to move into that Google Drive to test it out. So I'm just going to play with the syllabus acknowledgement because that's kind of the first assignment for my students. So I'm going to tap that open again. Here it is. It's got the signatures and all that good stuff. And now I'm ready to share this with somebody. But first, I have to move it to Google Drive. So I'm going to find the Export button, which is the arrow shooting out of the box at the top left, next to the bookshelf icon. And I got all kinds of options for my destinations. And because we just spent all that time doing Google Drive, and that's the ultimate destination, that's what we're going to do. Now, I already went through and selected which folder I wanted to send it to, but depending on the setup of your class, you might have a specific folder just for things that you want your teacher to see. I haven't created those folders for my classes yet, so I'm not going to be asking you to put that in there yet. However, eventually, they'll show up somewhere in your Google Drive. I have a whole lot of options here because I'm storing a whole lot of information. For right now, I'm just going to choose my class folders for psychology since this is the psych course syllabus acknowledgement. And all I need to do is tap export to for psych. That's the abbreviation for the folder. And then I make sure that I have my PDF format selected. I'm not going to turn on any funny paper settings, and I want to make sure that recordings are turned off. If recordings are turned on, it's going to export your file in a zip format, because it's going to be mixing a PDF and an audio file. We're not going to work on that right now. So I'm going to tap send to Google Drive. It's going to give me its little working thing, and then it disappears. The only way to know that it worked is to go check our Google Drive. There we are. There's my Psych Syllabus Acknowledgement 2. I've already tried this. That's why there are 2 of them. And there we have it. Now, if you were to import something and say you don't know where it ended up, you skipped the choose the folder step, you lost it, you're not really sure, well, you're in luck, because this magnifying glass unlocks the power of Google search right on your drive. So as we go through the year, and maybe as we go through the years with these devices and these accounts, you're going to amass a whole lot of stuff. And don't feel like something could get lost. As long as you remember what it's called, you can find it. So these are all the things that meet the term syllabus, and there it is, Psych Syllabus Acknowledgement. Whew. Okay. Well, here it is, but I want to know where it ended up. So let me find it again. And if I tap the arrow all the way on the side, it's going to open up an extra menu. The details menu allows us to do all kinds of things. This is where we can set permissions for people to see it, to share, to make things available offline, and also those 3 lines in the top right corner under my power meter give us even more options. And all we have to do is select Move To, and now we can select the proper folder. Gee, you know, I really wish that I had put it in this psych folder instead. So we're going to move it there. That little note that just popped up told me that I was about to share it with a shared folder, or put it into a shared folder, which means that anyone who has the permission to see that shared folder can see any of its contents. You're going to probably see that quite a bit when you're trying to move things into your folders that you've shared with your teachers. Don't worry, it's just a little heads up. If you accidentally share something with somebody by moving it into a folder, guess what? It's pretty easy to go in and move it back out. Just do the steps that I just showed you and move it into a folder that doesn't have that little person on the folder icon. All of these ones on the top here have that icon. This Notability folder has no person on the icon. Neither does the Tech Department folder I have right here. That's a quick way to tell whether or not you're sharing something with somebody. Okay, so I've gone a little bit longer than I thought I would when it came to moving things from Notability to Google Drive, but I figured those steps of possibly losing something in the middle of the transfer will be really important to include. I hope this was clear and helpful. If you have any questions, please email me. My email address for the purposes of these kinds of things can be found in the bottom left-hand corner next to my name, under my name actually, o'connorc@faculty.jhs.net. All right. Happy moving.